The president will be attending that service, but first he's heading to the UK for an unprecedented second state visit.
The trip, both business and a visit with the royal family.
Here to talk about that and all of the political headlines, April Chapman is a Project 21 ambassador, and Madeline Somerville is a Democrat strategist and a former Democrat speechwriter. Good morning, and great to have you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
April, starting with you here, President Trump headed to the UK. Let's talk about the significance of this trip, because I think many Americans and those in Europe as well are keenly aware of this nuclear deal that they're hoping to push forward and trying to break the EU from reliance upon Russia and Russian oil.
Yes, I'm actually well pleased that the president can chew bubblegum and walk. He's going over, most presidents struggle with the multitasking, but not only is he helping this nation heal and come together from the passing of American patriot Charlie Kirk, but he's also striking peace deals over in the UK. So I'm confident that his negotiation skills will prove to be positive and allowing the UK, or the EU, I'm sorry, to alleviate their dependence on foreign oil. In order for peace to be brokered, you have to have parties that are willing to at least come to the table. They need to understand what's at stake. And I believe President Trump is going to prove triumphant in this negotiation, just as he has in others in the past.
Madeline, as April said, we now have a president who can walk and chew gum. And maybe he should actually ride a bicycle, right, to actually show and display strength as a leader. But, getting back to the topic at hand, it's very important to embrace alternative energy opportunities. So this nuclear deal is very important, and also discuss and deepen the ties, both economically, financially, but also understand that these countries need to stand together as a beacon of light to European countries and other countries around the world to coalesce a support to bring peace, not only between Russia and Ukraine, but also in the Middle East. What say you?
Absolutely, I agree. And I'm usually a fan of President Trump when it comes to foreign policy issues, because I do believe that he wants peace. And recently, I know we saw a True Social post or a tweet from him that said something like, I'm on board as long as the rest of the NATO countries are on board with the sanctions that we're going to work on. And so rather than just doing that unilaterally and expecting everyone to come to the table after he sets the precedents, he's saying, I'm coming to you. And I think that's a really good move. And I hope that they can all work together as compatriots, as people who want peace to make this happen.
Moving on to this, President Trump saying the U.S. had carried out yet another strike on a Venezuelan boat, killing 3 alleged terrorists, saying they were carrying drugs. And the president posting this on Truth Social: "Be warned, if you are transporting drugs that can kill Americans, we are hunting you." So this is a clear warning here, April, and we see this unclassified video of, again, another strategic strike by the president on international waters here. Your reaction?
I mean, I think it's incredibly bold that those that are in this drug game are willing to test the patience of this president. Donald Trump has proven he's never the aggressor, but he will absolutely defensively push back when threatened. This drug war is causing undue harm on Americans. And what we're seeing is that a lot of these nations are proxying or having some sort of proxy relationship with trying to impact American way of life by having us hooked on different vices and chaos. And the situation with these drug cartels is no different. If you can keep the American people desensitized, distracted, and burden it down with all kinds of vices, such as the pornography industry or the drug industry, it really is a subversive way to try to conquer America without firing a shot. So I do believe that Donald Trump is absolutely serious in his threats in this situation, and I'm looking forward to see how this is going to turn out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Not only is Donald Trump taking action to these terrorists who are trying to transport drugs into our country that have decimated our rural and inner cities. And speaking about inner cities, And this just came across my news feed. And folks, if you haven't signed up for Newsmax alerts on all your social media, you should. So that way you can get timely information, just like I received just now, of a report that Trump injected $500 million into black colleges, HBCUs, and charter schools to further advance education. So not only is he stopping the crime wave throughout our entire country, stopping drugs from coming on shore, he's doubling down on education initiatives, bringing about a trifecta of freedom across America. What say you, Madeline?
I say awesome. I think that's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. That's a surprise, obviously, to me, too, since it's breaking news. And I know that over the weekend, there were many threats to HBCUs across the country. My personal mentor went to Spelman. I live in Atlanta, so there's lots of HBCUs here. And that makes me so happy. And I know that he worked with one of the governors last year on building housing in the different areas that were designated as growth, like cities that were set for growth around HBCUs so that people can stay after they learn and build businesses there. And I think that this might be a move in that direction to build up the cities around the HBCUs as well. So I'm super happy to hear that.
As well as charter schools, making sure that parents have choice in education.
Such an important step. I do want to shift gears here. The man accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk is due in court today, but not in person. Tyler Robinson will be making his court appearance from his jail cell in Utah. Formal charges against the 22-year-old could come today or later this week due to what's being described as a mountain of evidence. April, how do you see this playing out?
Well, I'm confident, one, that the FBI is going to do all that they can to bring Charlie's assassin, to bring him justice. But what concerns me more is that even when our justice system does everything right, we still have to remember that this gentleman, Tyler Robinson, is going to face an eternal judge. And no measure of punishment that we can enact this side of heaven is going to compare in comparison to what awaits him. And so I'm excited to see the developments that happened in this case. I was deeply affected by Charlie's assassination. I worked alongside with Turning Point USA and Blexic. So there's a huge gaping hole in my heart, knowing that this American patriot and dad and father has been ripped from us all because of the hatred in the heart of this one individual.
So true. And House Speaker Mike Johnson taking time out of his busy schedule to remember he's remembering Charlie Kirk's life and legacy. Let's take a listen.
It's as if a dark shadow was cast over our country and certainly here, even on Capitol Hill. The leaders of the nation have been shaken, as have university students and college students and young people all across the country. It's as if the ground was shifted beneath us. We all felt it deep, deep inside. And in spite of that, we remember that our dear friend Charlie would never want us to be overcome by despair. He would want exactly the opposite.
And to that point, Madeline, I think, what are your thoughts regarding to get America back on the path like we're doing now? Sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree, but it's always cordial and respectful, even when we disagree. How can we actually get down the path of doing it on college campuses, doing it on various entertainment programs, as well as any other form of debate?
Absolutely. And I love this question. Thank you so much for asking me, because it's something I'm very passionate about. Actually, a good friend of mine here in Atlanta called me yesterday to come to the vigils and memorials that they're going to have for Charlie Kirk. I went to the last Turning Point USA event at Georgia State University and debated for an hour with people and hugged everyone when I left, because everyone was incredibly sweet and kind and lovely and respectful to me the whole time I was there, which isn't surprising at all, because that's what they stood for. So it's really shaken me pretty hard. I didn't know Charlie, but I knew a lot of people who did. I knew the people who created a whole organization in response to Charlie, who are all also incredibly shaken because we believe in civil discourse. The thing that I think we need to remember, just personally, because I do this all the time, is remember that the people on the other side are well-intentioned. Remember that the people on the other side are not evil, that they're not bad. One thing that I've learned recently, too, is that a lot of people on the left think that all MAGAs are QAnon, and a lot of people on the right think that all people on the left are Antifa. And neither of those things is true. Right, and I know that you can remind people that a lot more people are in the center than they realize. That's accurate for sure. But the fact is that most people want what's best for the country. They don't want people to be hurt. They don't want bad things. So that's just, to me, that's the thing to remember. And don't listen to the vice president, and don't listen to the president, who say that this is all the fault of one party that doesn't like you and that doesn't care about you. Don't let them demonize either side, because we're all good people on both sides.
I have to push back on that one last point, to listen to the president or the vice president. I mean, I think in this case, April, we have seen that a lot of the rhetoric calling people fascists, Nazis, and the like have basically come as a justification for this murder, this assassination. And again, I appreciate the fact that we have to have a civil discourse. I'm also in favor of it. But Charlie did have a civil discourse here, and he was still assassinated. I keep making this point because I think we do have to also look at the truth of the matter behind this. And we're seeing his motive, which is very, very clear based on all of the influences that he had and everything we're learning. And it does seem that he was radicalized to some degree. And the questions remain as to how we can prevent this. But you know, you were working with Charlie Kirk, and you were working with Blexit, as you explained, and many people, I mean, they hurled those insults, calling him a racist and other names. So, April, your reaction?
Yeah, and it's amazing because I love sitting on the panel with Madeline. She's always very respectful,
Yes.
Civil discourse. We're able to actually engage and disagree. But the issue is that there is a lot of inflammatory rhetoric and lies that propagate and cause situations like this to happen. And overwhelmingly, it is coming from the radical left. Tyler Robinson was radicalized, and we're still trying to get more information. But information that is being disseminated over the airwaves. We're living in a time where proclaiming faith in Jesus is treated as hate speech. And Charlie never wavered in his beliefs. He proclaimed Christ with gentleness and respect, as 1 Peter 1:13 teaches. And so it's, as much as I want to engage in civil discourse, and I do my best to do so, we have to be honest and talk about our politicians that are inflaming and inciting violence, and then our institutions that have been overrun by Marxist and subversive tactics that are teaching young people that any form of pushback or disagreement, that these people are your enemy. I don't believe that Madeline hates me or wishes any harm on me at all, but she is the minority. She is the minority. This is not, if we're going to engage in any sort of intellectual honesty, we have to be honest and say that the violence that we are seeing, the political violence, the precursor to that is a lot of this social change that has happened and pushed on the American people very rapidly.
Well, we ran out of time, but I must
Did we?
say,
Are you sure, John?
I must say this. While everyone's saying Madeline has wings, I'm committed to actually torching those wings. Why? Because I'm going to get you riled up in the next segment, next time we talk. Because I have to push back on what you said in your last comment. You said we should not listen to President Trump. There are good people on both sides. Well, guess what? Trump said that years ago. There were good people on both sides, and he condemned the neo-Nazis, the KKK. But the media, left-wing media, and others still twisted his words. And you actually said something in the same spirit as President Trump. So we have to also engage in honesty and balance.
Honesty.
And we
Your
have to
neighbors
leave
are
it
not
there.
the media.
We have to leave it there. And we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Yeah. Great discussion, ladies. April Chapman, Madeline Somerville, thank you.
Thank you.